Hey everyone, I'm Samantha Johnson. Right now, the Indiana Pacers are gearing up for their first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Blue and Gold are getting to work, preparing to take on the Knicks in New York City for Game 1. Now, these two teams have already played each other a few times this season, with the Pacers winning one of those games.
I mean, they play really hard. They got a lot of different guys. Obviously, they added Cat this year. I'm excited to compete against those guys. We played against them last year, and it's obviously a storied rivalry between two franchises. So to add another chapter to it is going to be a lot of fun, and just excited to compete against those guys.
Pace difference is huge. How do you go about making sure the game is played at a tempo you guys want?
We're going to have to get stops. We're going to get stops. Offensively, we are who we are, but if we're not getting stops, then if we're not getting stops, not making shots, then you got to play at the other team's pace. So if we're able to get stops and finish every possession with a rebound, that's the most important thing. Their points per possession goes way up as they grab more and more rebounds. So if we can try to hold them to one possession as much as we can, rebound, run, we'll feel good. But we got to be able to rebound. That's the biggest thing.
Looking forward to the WWE stuff with Jalen in the series.
It's exciting. Obviously, you guys know I'm a diehard WWE fan. Still trying to get Triple H to come to a game, working on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool that that happened this summer, and here we are. So it's a pretty cool storyline. I'm all into long-term booking and all those things, and I'm sure it goes along with everybody who thinks there's a script. They think Triple H had something to do with it. So I'm excited about it.
How did you guys pull that off last year in the first place? How did that all come together?
Well, obviously I have a really good relationship with WWE, really good relationship with Triple H, and I got a call that they wanted me to come to the Garden. It was like, no question, I'll be there. Had no idea Jalen was going until I got there, and they're like, where's Jalen? So I called Jalen, and I'm like, are you coming? And he's like, yeah. And I said, oh, so we're really doing this. We're tying it all in. I had no idea until we got there. I think he knew, but I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool moment. Obviously, lifelong dream of mine to do anything with WWE, and to do it there and be booed and all that stuff was a lot of fun. So it was a good time.
Did you know he was into it? Is that something you guys talked about during?
Yeah. We talked about it during World Cup. I always knew he was into it. So it's pretty cool that they were able to pull it off, and without any real leaks or anything. It's pretty cool that we were able to pull it off.
From the playoffs and even that moment in the Garden, just how much do you like performing, being in that building? Does that hold a special place for you to go in there?
For sure. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I think last year the series was a lot of fun, back and forth. It felt like nobody could win 2 games in a row until we were able to do it. And I think that going into the series, I think that they didn't like the organization, but I don't think there were certain guys that their fans didn't like, and now they don't really like us too much. So it's all the fun with it, man. And like I said, excited to add more chapters to this storied rivalry and just continue to be a part of it. And I look forward to playing in that building, and I look forward to the crowd environment. It's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that my dad won't be able to go. So I look forward to the environment for sure.
Speaking of just that playoff series, they obviously made some personnel changes.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they're a completely different team to prepare for, or is there anything you can draw from based off that match?
Yeah, I feel like obviously Cat presents a whole new challenge, and having OG healthy. Obviously they present, and Mikhail, they present completely different challenges, but I think at the same time, Tibbs is a guy who, he's not a gimmick guy. Everything is very square. What he does, he doesn't change his offense much. He doesn't change their defensive concepts much. It's very, the way he wants to do it. They're old school, I think, in that way. So I think they run a lot of, similar stuff, but I think there's definitely different personnel out there. So, we played them 3 times this year. Obviously, early in the year, it was an awful game there in the Garden. The last time we were there, we beat them once, and then they, beat us one time here. Aaron and Andrew were both kind of hurt a couple times. Miles didn't play in the 3rd game, so it's a little funky when it comes to looking at full film and stuff. But there's obviously bits and pieces you can take from every game, so I'm definitely excited about that.
How do you view that economy? Obviously, you guys play a lot of guys. They played those 5 almost entirely, and certainly I think they played more by far than any 5 in the league. How do you guys view how that could shake out? obviously they're really well conditioned.
Yeah.
They've been doing that all year, but you guys run a whole bunch of new.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep being who we are, keep leaning into our depth. I think the biggest part here is, like, obviously, we feel like we have the best bench in the NBA, so when it's second group, we're very confident in what our group can do,
Right.
We're confident at any time, but it'll be a little different, with the majority of the time, if our second group's in there, you're seeing more starters than you usually see.
Sure.
So our second group's got to continue to be who they are, not worry about, who's in front of them necessarily. Just continue to play the way they do. Fly, keep the pace in the game. The wear down effect. We could keep talking about TJ and those guys picking up full court, continuing our pace within our offense. Them having to, if they're keeping their guys on the floor, keep playing the way we do. And then when our first group gets back in there, keep it going. So I think it's definitely a contrast of styles. They play a slower, more methodical way. A lot through JB. We move the ball more, play a lot more guys. So it's definitely a different styles here, but I think that's what makes our game beautiful.
So how have you seen just Aaron evolve as a shooter? I mean, I look at some of his splits, catching shoes, off the dribble, driving. Like, how have you seen that kind of take a step forward?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's always had a strap. I mean, when we came into the NBA, I think that we were always talked about as being kind of two of the best shooters in our class, and so to be here with him, see how hard he works every day, see the extra work he puts in after practice, before practice, all those things. It's no surprise he works so hard, and I think that we've talked about many times. Like, that's just a guy that I think every player in the NBA wants to go to a battle with a guy like Aaron Neesmith. So he's just unbelievable when it comes to his work ethic, how hard he plays, and he's just been a big part of what we do. So obviously he's shooting the ball well, but I think where he's really taking a step is being able to dribble the ball up in transition, finishing at the rim. He's always been able to guard. I think he just keeps evolving every year, and so really a big part of what we do. So it's really good to see him playing well, and we look forward to seeing him continue to do that.
You guys haven't had a game for almost a week now. Can you talk about the benefits of having that time off, and are there any downfalls to it? I mean, does it kind of throw your groove off a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think the benefits behind it are, being able to get proper rest. We've had a couple off days, had a couple good hard practice days. Downfalls, I think that people could say it's like a trap, so you can't really look into that much. Just be ready to go game one. And I bet if you ask certain guys, the downfall would be you got more Rick Carlisle practices. So I mean, it depends on who you ask, but I think those are all good things for us, to have more time to scout, even in the days where we didn't know who we were going to play, being able to work more on what we do internally. I think defensively, knowing if we played Boston or New York, we were going to have to rebound. So continue to harp on that because we weren't very good on that in the Cleveland series, especially early in the series. So I think it's been good for us to get more days to work and hopefully be ready to go Wednesday.
Throughout the past, you've had some outstanding defensive moments individually. Head into another physical matchup. How will you know when to pick your spots and when to fall back and not try to get a second, third?
Yeah, I was trying to be solid. Playing these guys many times, knowing how they operate. Depending on who I'm guarding, it all poses different threats and different challenges. Obviously, Josh Hart is unbelievable at crashing, so don't want to pick up any silly fouls there. With Mikal will back you down and just shoot fadeaways over you. So and you guys know I like to think I'm a good shot blocker. So with Mikal, I can kind of get baited into wanting to block every time he shoots the ball and then foul. So I just trying to be solid and just be as good of a team defender as I can be, picking my spots, figuring out how I can be in the right position to help and how I can help rebound. If I can rebound, at a decent level, I like our chances. So I'm going to have to be able to do that.
He's just got to be ready to do his job within our system. When shots are there, take them. The rest of the time, do your job within the defensive system and block out.
You've seen him get better at doing exactly that in the playoffs, staying within the system and still doing the things that he does best.
He's a young player that's growing all the time. He's just, and there's things to be learned every time he steps on the floor. And, the things that happen that are things to learn from, he gets it very quickly. They are a different team to prepare for. They have more weapons, and they've maintained their rebounding. So when you add Bridges and you add Towns, I mean those are two long-range, mid-range, at the rim threats. Both guys move great. They're both just exceptional players with what they can do from a diversity standpoint. And so, and you know, Anunoby's healthy. You know, he was banged up last year. So it's quite different from a personnel standpoint.
How does Towns just change the counter for you? You mentioned him obviously the long range that you obviously got to guard him wherever he goes.
I mean, you got to guard him at 35 feet. You know, I mean, he makes those shots. He steps right into them, and you know, and he you know, and some of the stuff is just, you know, for a 7-foot guy, it's just a different world, you know, different world you're living in, you know? Because he shoots it with ease, he drives the ball, really going either direction, and in the post, he's still one of the best in the game.
What does Mitchell Robinson, I guess, do for their team from a rebounding standpoint and also defending on the perimeter in space?
Well, his productivity as a rebounder is really quite remarkable. I think he's getting four offensive rebounds a game, and he's tipping the ball out another 3 or 4 times. So, you know, in some games he's generating 7 or 8 extra possessions for them. So he's a major factor. And you know, it's just another thing to prepare for. And then the other guy that people don't talk enough about is Achua. You know, Achua gives them another big defender and another guy that can crash and generate possession. So, you know, it's going to be a constant physical battle in there, and you know, we're going to need to be ready.
You mentioned Anunoby being healthy. Obviously, everybody knows how great of a defender he is. And how have you seen him progress as an offensive player? I think he averaged a career high, not out. Continue to add pieces to the game to make himself dangerous.
Yeah, he's been great in the playoffs. He can create his own offense, and he's also a high-level spot-up player. You know, off of other action, and so, you know, he's a great player. Everything he can do, he can play multiple positions. He can guard really any position on the floor with his strength. So, yeah, I mean, it's a different dimension that he brings to their team, and the versatility is one of the key characteristics of it.
Rick, as somebody who haven't been with you guys all year necessarily, but
welcome.
Record,
it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It has been,
yeah. And
especially since January, you guys record-wise have been, and even probably December, playing a lot differently than you started the season those first 6 weeks or so. What flipped, and what do you think has maybe sustained into this playoff run?
Well, we weren't healthy the first 2 months, and we had a very difficult schedule. So, you know, January we had no back-to-backs. That helped. We became healthier. But I'm not going to get into a big diatribe about what happened in the past right now. None of that matters. I mean, we've just got to prepare ourselves to be ready for the environment, all the challenges that come with starting a playoff series on the road, and you know, we've got to really work at doing the things that we do well as we can.
I mean, they're just a great team overall. They're super well coached. They got a phenomenal player in Jalen Brunson, and the addition of Cat and Mikal Bridges. We know what challenges ahead of us, so we gotta be ready for the fight.
A lot is made in this series about how you guys use your depth so much and they barely use any. Does that change how you approach those bench minutes, and what do you feel like you guys need to do well when you're out there as a second unit?
I kind of think for us it's, as a bench, not really changing who we are. It's just bringing a ton of energy on both ends of the floor and try to make it as difficult as possible for them on both ends, and you know, get guys tired.
What's as far as Rick's concerned, the style of play, just believing in randomized movement, trusting you guys. What makes that work? What does it take from you guys to be able to put together to kind of play a flow game that he can trust and you guys can?
I mean, I feel like it's a credit to all of us kind of sacrificing a bit of a role and just moving the ball to get the ultimate best shot. And like I said, I got you. It's great. It's a great philosophy from the coaching staff, obviously, but credit to us for kind of putting it in motion and being selfless.
The continuity, I mean, how much does it help that you guys have had 2-3 years with mostly this group together to figure out how you guys move when you don't have a play call?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly helps with the chemistry. So, credit to the front office for trusting us to bring this group back, and we just got to continue to be who we are. And that's selfless on offense and getting people easy shots and making them work on the defensive end.
How much have you played in a system like that before? I mean, how new is it to you when we're kind of implemented basically, and how much do you think it helps your game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could see the vision that Rick was trying to bring once he was hired here, and kind of slowly but surely started to develop it. And I think it helps my game a lot, just playing free, playing fast, and puts me and other players in positions to do what we do best.
To that point, how much do you think you all put an emphasis on just being in shape? Because you run on offense a lot, pick up 94 feet on defense. So how much do you think that helps with your style of play?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the stuff we do in the summer, and especially what we do in practice, gets us prepared for the way that we play. Because we're doing that against each other in practice all year and in training camp, and it's a difficult style, but we all love it, and obviously have to be in great shape for it. So, I mean, I feel like strength and conditioning staff does a great job of getting us ready, and so do the coaches as well.
This is obviously a different Knicks team than when you played last year, but what kind of things can you draw off the experience of playing at MSG and playing that series last year against them?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone that was here last year and played them in the second round knows the type of environment we're walking into at MSG. They got a phenomenal fan base who's going to be really amped up, and we kind of just have to go in there, feeling like we have our backs against the wall because it's us against the world. In that environment, we're all we got. So we have to stay together and play together as well.
Pace-wise, you guys are a lot faster than them. How do you avoid getting into their speed in these games?
I feel like, kind of referring to what I just said, we've got to stay together and not try to, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but we just got to be a collective group and not try to do something out of our comfort zone and play like we have been.
We have the right mindset to go into game one, and we're not only trying to steal one game away, we're going out there to win every single game. So that's my mindset. That's the team's mindset. That's where we stand, and everybody's ready. So.
You like MSG?
Say it again.
You like playing at MSG?
For sure, I love it. I think it loves me more than I love it. I'll keep it. Who doesn't like playing MSG, man? Grew up watching all those guys playing MSG. I was telling Jay Walk, I said, yo, you remember when we were in high school, and I was supposed to be doing my homework, but I was watching LeBron James playing in Cleveland and doing all this, pregame routine and throwing the powder and stuff. So, yo, look where we are right now. We're standing exactly where we was watching the video. So I said, listen, as much as we would want to be involved a little bit more, you gotta appreciate where we are, man. Like winning a championship. How many different players in the NBA has won a championship? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that if I win a championship, I'm gonna retire. But I'm saying that you just gotta take advantage of the opportunity and be grateful.
So game 1 and 2 will be played in New York Wednesday and Friday night. Our Eli Gain will be there covering both games, and he will have complete coverage on air and right here on WTHR+. I'm Samantha Johnson. Thanks for watching.